Hey, this is Becky, and we are changing things up like we like to do. And I am here just to say thank you for being here and for being part of our little beady world and sharing the joy and love that is beading and making creative things. We really appreciate that you all are part of our experience. And so I'm going to be shortly sharing how to put together our new Road Warrior bracelet, similar to Open Road. Open Road has beads, Road Warrior doesn't, and I'll be showing you how to do the Road Warrior with a new way of finishing, and then we'll talk about a couple other good fun things too. In the meantime, I'm going to get myself set up here to show you the tutorial, and Ed will tell you about the how we're gonna do things and deals and all of that good stuff.
Yes, thanks. Hey, so this is you are seeing a world premiere of our Road Warrior bracelet kit. You don't get the chance to go to many world premieres anymore. There's no red carpet here, but there is 130-year-old maple flooring in our studio, and we're going to show you 5 new designs that Becky has created that are called Road Warrior. She's actually going to show you how to make them today, and time permitting, we're going to auction off a few of the, just a dozen or so of the remaining orphan kits from last week's show, and we're going to do those at 50% off. We're going to do those at the end of the show, so you don't want to miss that. I think those will go quickly. So again, back to the Road Warrior. It is, as of this morning, on our website. You'll be able to purchase it through our normal web cart at diakonosdesigns.com. You can use the coupon code KIT20 to save 20%. So these $32 kits will become $25.60, an insane deal. Buy early, buy often. They won't be ready to ship till Friday or Saturday. We're still doing final packaging and folding instructions. And as always with our shows, if your order is over $50, we'll ship it for free in the continental United States. If it's under that, it's just a simple flat fee of $4.95. If you are making comments on the live feed, we can also take your order that way, especially for the kit auction later in the show. And if you've worked with us before and we have your email address, that's great. If not, at the end of the show, you just need to let us know how to contact you so we can get your shipping information and send you a secure click and pay invoice. And our best way to do that is via a private Facebook message or an email to Becky at diakonosdesigns.com. I think Becky's ready to go, so we'll turn it back over to her.
Hey, thanks again. And one thing we're doing today that I'm hoping will be kind of fun is if you stick with us at the end, I'm going to give away a custom Road Warrior bracelet, and the one I just set down here is a design that one of our team members here put together. It's got copper in the middle, matte black, matte gunmetal, and violet leather woven in a wide weave. And so if you, while we're on our live, will like us, follow us, comment, share this with your friends, we would be delighted to bless you with a free kit. We'll contact the winner, and then I'll work with you directly to come up with what combination of leather and chain you'd like. In fact, here, these are all the different chain options that, oh my, so big. Lots and lots of different chain colors.
There's 11 of them altogether.
And yep, we've updated and added some. And so lots of fun ways to make this really kind of neat. And in the meantime, I'll be sharing the 3 different ways that we make this weave, how to start it and how to end it. So I'm going to get these goodies out of here and get started. So my clasp that was sitting out here must have attached. Oh, there it is. There we go. So the kits will come with 3-position slider class. Any of you who've used our sliders that come with many of our kits know that they have a nice little magnet inside, so they hold really well. We have them in 3 and 4 position. This design uses a 3 position. there's 3 different colors of chain that come with each kit. 2 of the chains will have 16 inches of chain all together, and 1 will have just 8 inches. The other, and then the leather, you'll have 6.5 feet of leather with this, 1.5 mil. By the way, this is 4.8 millimeter chain. And then you have a tiny little bit, about a 1/2 inch of 3.8 millimeter chain. Fun fact, 4.8 millimeter chain has an opening, so you can use it as a jump ring, which is what we'll do shortly. And then 3.8 does not have an opening, so you can use it as crimps, which we'll show you at the end. So useful in both of those cases. So in this case, I am basically doing the metal colors that are part of this bracelet kit, which is called Montana, but I'm going to do it with brown leather just to change it up. Because we can, right, ladies? We can do whatever we want. So I'm going to grab this. You know, there might be men. I should be careful. I'm going to find on this first 16-inch piece of chain, I'm going to find the halfway point and get to the spot where the seam on the ring is. And you see I'm using oh fun, love magnets. I'm using a bent nose and round nose. For me, that's the easiest way to get in there. 2 round nose pliers is nice, but not everybody has 2 round nose pliers. So I like to try to do these demos using the, you know, one set of basic tools. So I like to throw the magnet on toward me because it just works better in terms of sometimes the magnet wants to go grab your tools because it's a magnet. And in this case, I'm going to put the 2 matte gunmetal pieces on the outside, and I am going to put the copper is the shorter one, so that goes in the middle, and then 2 pieces of shiny gunmetal on the inside. And so I'm going to put my, well, actually I'm going to put my middle one on. It's almost easier to put these on left to right or right to left, I guess it doesn't really matter, rather than do the outside ones and then the inside one, just because there's less stuff that you're running into. And if you've worked with these magnet clasps before and used rings to attach, you know that part of the fun is magnets. They like to grab on your stuff. So there, I put it over the back side, and we've got that connected. And then one more. So you see the way that I'm opening and closing these rings, and this is common to most of our bracelet kits that are in, well, they're either already a 4.8 mil chain, or they are, we give you 4.8 mil Rolo rings as part of the kit to attach larger or smaller Rolo chain. But you see, I'm basically pulling it apart, pressing it back together, lining it up. If it doesn't line up perfectly, or there's a little gap, you know, I'll come in and kind of squish it together to make sure it's not going to come out. But once these are attached, this is just an amazingly sweet, secure way to hold the clasp, the chains onto the clasp. I gotta say, it is my favorite because it's very secure. It doesn't come off. Now I'm gonna cut the, or not cut, but I'm gonna open the rings for the shiny gunmetal. And on shiny chain, sometimes it's hard even to find. I'm gonna use my round nose to turn that. It's hard to find the opening, actually on any of them sometimes. So I'm using my thumbnail to kind of feel for it. And I think it's there. It's hard to get close up. Oh yes, that is where it is. Did you see how nice that opened? So, but this, I'm just going to discard that because, well, I'll use it for something, but I don't need to close it up because I'm going to string on solid pieces, solid rings that aren't opened. So I've got 3 chains attached. I'm going to be weaving with 5 chains, and in this design we're using 6.5 feet of leather. The 6.5 feet is going to be a good amount for whichever way you weave. If you're doing a tighter weave, of course, you will not need quite as much leather, so you'll have some left over. So you can make little earrings or make a little dangle. So for most of our kits, we're going right to left through chain, right? So this is right to left, but I need to add in these shiny chains. So I'm gonna go through the first link, the one that I actually attached to the clasp, and then I'm gonna put the next chain on, and then go through the middle one, and then put the other loose chain on. So these two loose chains, the second and fourth position, so there's 5 chains. The 2 loose ones aren't, I'm calling them loose because they're not attached to the closure. They're just hanging on the leather. So I've got the leather in, and I'm gonna pull, oh, there's my little clasp, came right undone. I'm gonna pull it so that I've got half on each side. So a little over 3 feet of leather is on each side. And now we're gonna get going. I'm gonna go right to left again, kind of spread my chains out so I can see what's what. And I'm gonna skip the second ring in all of these, and I'm going to go right to the third ring. So always going parallel and right to left. And if you're left-handed, you could go left to right and just do it all the time and do it consistently, and you won't have any issues. So as you can see, for the first pass through, the way it just hangs nicely, I don't have to do them individually. I can just kind of slide the whole piece of leather right through, and I'm going to pull it. And I'm not going to tighten it up quite yet because I want to get the other piece of leather through. So we're going to flip it to the back side, and I'm going to take this top piece of leather, this one right here, easy for me to say, and then I'm going to go through the exact same chain link that I just went through. So on the first and second chain, I'm going through those Rolo rings a second time. For the third one, I want that to pop up on the front side. So on the front, I want it to be raised. So I'm not going to go through it. I'm going to go behind that one. And then I'm going to go through the fourth and fifth. And I don't mean to cover this up, but you can see where if you can line up the Rolo links so that they're right, right in a line, it's easy to make that leather just slide right through. So that's our first stitch. It's starting to look pretty good. No problem, Eddie. So in the instructions and in the examples that were in the pictures that were in the posts for this, there was 3 different ways that we could weave. The natural way this one just happens to be weaving is what I call, again, this is the top side, I would call this, I would call it layered. And it means the first, third, or the first and fifth chains, right here and right here, are on top of the second and fourth. In all of the designs, the middle chain is going to be on the very top, and the chains right next to it, so the second and fourth position, in this case the gunmetal, are going to be under it, so they're supporting it. So you can see where here the copper chain is riding on top of the gunmetal chain. And on the back side, the gunmetal chain, the edges right here are going to be touching. That's one of the ways when you whatever weave approach or pattern you choose, you can, if you look on the back and look to get things lined up to whatever you're, like in this case, the edges of the Rolo rings, you can make sure that you keep your stitches consistent. And so here I'm going to make sure that this first piece of leather is pull down and away so that there's plenty of room here for me to get my second piece of leather through. You can see how easy that is. So I want to go through the first two, skip the middle one, pull it through, and then go through the last two, so the fourth and fifth. And you can do those together or individually, whichever. So looking on the back side here, you can see that, again, the of the very first weave and the second one are different. So the bottom one, the second one, is, I'm going to get a white piece of paper to put behind there. See if that helps to make it clear. So the bottom one is what I would call flat and wide, and I'll show you some of these examples so that you can better understand what I'm trying to say. And once you're working with them, you'll start to see that you want to make the chains line up somewhere good. And so, like I say, the very first weave here, this one is just kind of starting out to be what I call layered, and the middle Rolo rings are touching. So as you go, you can pull and make sure that the edges are staying smooth, because we don't want we don't want a lot of unevenness. And again, once you've established which weave you're doing, you can pull accordingly. So in order to show you the next weave, what I'm going to do, well, maybe I'll just do it right here. I was going to skip a little space, but I think I can do it right here. So I'm going through the first ring, or the next ring, and pull that through. And in fact, it's easy enough once you get these started to just play around and decide, on the fly, which kind of weaving pattern you want to use, and try it in different ways and see what you like. So again, through the first two, skip the second one so it pops up on the front, and through the last two. And so now what I'm going to do, another option is called stacked, and what that is when all the chains from the front are basically stacked on each other. So in this case, I'm going to make sure that this matte gunmetal is on top of, or from the front, it's behind the shiny gunmetal. And I'm going to do one more stitch, and then we'll look at it from the front, because you'll be able to see kind of the difference that it makes. In my mind, it seems like when you do it in a stacked fashion, you get a little bit more of the middle color, not the middle color, but the second and fourth chains showing in terms of their color. So it's got a little more prominence. Oh, do you know what? This is my first one, and I didn't go through the copper. No, Becky. So, oh, no, oh boy, I'm working from the back. Yikes. So I'm going to go back to the front. No wonder it was a little bit putsy. So there's a good tip right there. It was really awkward for me to do that weave, and it's because I was working from the back. I had forgotten where I was, and so now I'm remembering, and I'm on the front. And so we're going through, on the front side, we go through all the chains. And I guess that's a tip too, is as you're working on any of these, if something feels just not right, if it's just too hard, it's probably just not right. And take a look at the instructions, take a look at the pictures, and see if you can figure out what it is you might be doing wrong. Because oftentimes there's a tip there, or there's just something like I was just doing, where I was attempting to work from the back when I really should have been on the front. So here, again, I'm going to take those outside two chains and make sure that they are, in essence, behind the front chains. And so from the front side, And we have some interesting light here today. I am blessed that here in Wisconsin we have bright sunshine. It has gotten cool, but the sun is out and it's a gorgeous day. So we have sun, we have light from our lighting, but we also have sun coming in that's giving some interesting reflection. But I think you can see, oh no, you don't need to. I like the extra sun. It just means it's, it's hard to kind of see. It's the right place to hold that. So the first 2 links are woven differently than the second 2 links, or the second 2 weaves, and you can see more of the shiny gunmetal in the second 2 weaves, because you see it on both on both links will show, or all the links will show. Whereas when you're weaving it in a layered fashion, you don't see them all. The instructions have some good pictures that make this pretty evident, which will help in understanding it, because it does matter. Little things matter, I think. And so what I want to share here is this. This is the difference. These two, the one on the left is stacked, and the one on the right is layered. And again, they're different color waves, so it's hard to necessarily see the difference, but you just get a slightly different effect depending on how you are. Oops, there, how about put them on the screen? That might make it easier. So 2 different approaches for 2 different looks, and then part of it might be which way you like to weave better. Then the last is what I call flat and wide, and that is basically weaving. I'll put them all there for just a moment. But what you're basically doing there is weaving so that all the Rolo rings, other than the top one, so again, all of the different weaves have this top, the middle chain is always on top. But here, all the chains are going to line up right next to each other, flat on the back. And so that makes this style of weaving the flattest and widest that you can make this bracelet. If you just comparing these two, you can see that there's a difference in width, and that might be part of the look. There's just a little more airiness here. This is more compact. So I'm going to do one more weave, and I'm going to pull this out just so, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll leave it. I'm going to show you how to basically do this flat, which is the easiest because you're lining all of the rings up just kind of as they naturally seem to want to go. Hey, Margaret, good to see you. I haven't really had a chance to look. Hey, if anybody's out there, okay, so I'm going to say this again. We would love if you would love us. We love you, and we would love if you would follow us. If you don't already follow us on Facebook, there's some ellipses in the upper right-hand corner on our page, those 3 little dots, ... And if you click, it goes to a page that says follow. And you can those settings to be whatever you want. And you can do that for all the pages that you follow. If you don't already know this, you can indicate that you'd like to, whenever we do a live video, you would like to know about it, or you can know about our posts from a priority standpoint. We tend not to do more than about 1 a day unless we're doing a live video like we are today, so we don't inundate you. But we would sure appreciate having the easiest, best way to get a hold of you. And if you're not on our newsletter, that's another really helpful way for us to all stay in touch, is sign up on our website. On the first page, there's a newsletter sign up button. You just click that, and then we'll get you copies of our newsletter every single time we send them out, which is about every 2 weeks these days. And there's always some good deals, new updates, that kind of thing. In fact, we are going to be doing our toffee, right, Eddie? Come November?
Yes, the Amish are COVID-free, and we plan on offering our toffee starting Black Friday, the first Friday after Thanksgiving. They've set the price, and it's going to stay solid at $14 a pound. and you also can earn that by just spending a certain amount in our studio.
Yeah, the Amish toffee has been a fantastic, fun thing every year. It's not so good for my waistline, but it's tasty. Jessica's asking on the flat and white, I'm not going through the middle chain. And on the front side, I am going through all 5 chains. On the back side, I'm not going through the middle chain. And that's true for all of the weaves. Every single one of them. You don't go through the middle chain. Now, in real life, if you wanted to be fun and different and try something, could you go through the middle chain? Of course. You could change up your way of doing this design all day long, because that's how fun these creative things are. So recommendation, and the style that we're doing has the front one or the middle chain popped up on all of them, but it sure doesn't have to be. So, and that would be fun to experiment with. I mean, if you have the materials and just play around, you'll see. So here you can see kind of that width issue or difference. So this is the flat and wide, and these are the other 2 stitches, the layered and stacked, or stacked and layered. And so you can see just how on the flat and wide, where the edge of every roll O-ring, well, I shouldn't say every, not the top, not the middle one, but 1, 2, 4, and 5 are all touching. And that's how you, when you're pulling your leather to snug it all up, that's how you know that they're all the right size. And you see how I'm just kind of wiggling and manipulating these a little bit, just to, as you get one stitch done, it's a little like knitting or crocheting. You just, keep your stitches nice and even and adjust like the last stitch that you did as you are making this current stitch. And yes, Nancy was saying it looks like this does make the copper, the middle chain, pop up on the front, and that's exactly what it does. It just makes it pop up. You see a little bit more of it, and it's just an interesting look, we think. It's part of what makes it Road Warrior, kind of like middle center line in a road. Yeah, that's a different story, isn't it? Why we called it Road Warrior, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so these are the different options. And what I really want to share, though, is how to finish them, because finishing is always part of the fun. As you can see,
you gotta stick the dismount.
Yeah, there you go. As you can see, the once you get weaving, it's like super. It's meditative and straightforward. I guess I should mention, if your leather gets soft, because once you've put this piece of leather through here all these times as you go down the chain, it will start to get a little bit soft and squishy. What I like to do is, if the tip isn't cooperating, it isn't nice and stiff, snip it to a really, really, really sharp angle. You can see just how sharp that angle is there. And you could get even sharper if you wanted to. And recutting that, and then kind of pinching it, squeezing it, pulling it, and just here I'm like kind of compressing the leather, will stiffen this up, almost makes it like a needle, so that it can really weave through those chains really easily. Again, so there's if the leather gets really soft, don't fight with it. Make it do your bidding. And the other tip I'll say, speaking of soft leather, is in the humidity, sometimes leather can be a real bugger, and it's better to just go find some air conditioning, or our leather vendor has said put it in the freezer, put your leather in the freezer. That'll help take some of the moisture out, because in hot, humid climates, that can be a real problem. So now I'm going to show attaching these rings, and then doing our doing the ovaled crimp rings. Sorry, my words pass sometimes. Anyway, so we are going to, I wanted to just share sizing. So why am I stopping here? Because I have lined this all up, and looked at where it's going to land, and I feel like that's right where I want it. I like these to wear kind of like a wristwatch, cuff style. If you want yours a little bigger, then of course you could make it just a little bit bigger. So I'm leaving all the leather intact because I'm going to do the finish after I get my, where are we? There we are. After we get the chain attached to the other half of the clasp. So now I'm opening up that last jump ring. There's no leather woven through it. I left it up above, so I've got one more stitch to do. And I'm going to close that one up. Make sure I don't have any space. And then I guess what I did skip, all of these were longer, of course. I figured out the size I wanted and then removed all the unnecessary chain. Once you have your size right, then take off what you don't need, and then those little rings are useful for all kinds of good stuff too.
And how do you take off that excess chain, Becky?
You take off that excess chain, Eddie, by, good question, thanks for asking it. Just opening up, you can snip it if you're not wanting to do what I'm doing, or you can, get on there, Beck, or just open it up like this. Again, not like you would normally open a jump ring, that kind of scissors approach, but pulling these ends apart and gently just kind of pulling them back together. It works really nicely.
Normally we don't advise that with opening a jump ring, but the Rollo chain we always have found is stiff enough and sturdy enough. It's as sturdy as 18 gauge chain, or 18 gauge rings, or even sturdier, and so it does hold up to that quote unquote egg crack opening that Becky's showing, and it does keep the chain more round and stresses it less. So that's why we're showing that way.
Yep, absolutely. And just as a quick little, because it's right here, there is a Rollo ring, a 4.8 mil Rollo ring, just being a bail. See how we made him be a bail on that cute little charm? And so any of these little rings, they're useful for all kinds of good stuff. I like them in place of jump rings all over the place. Next, I'm going to show you how to take the little itty bitty bit of 1/2 inch of chain that comes with your kit, which is like so, and turn it into these little oval crimps. How about if I do that? Does that work? See how those are nicely ovaled? So that we'll use them for this finish. And I'm going to show you the finish on another one so that you get where we're going. Let's see. Oh, those colors are too close. How about if I do this?
While she's doing that transition, just remind all those that are on to stay tuned for in about another 15 minutes. We'll do a quick auction of a dozen orphaned kits that are 50% off. The leftovers from last week, and that still are looking for a home. So we're going to make it worth your while to take them home. So stay tuned.
And thanks for the feedback. I like the whip that leather to do your bidding. I cannot stress that enough. Is that what you're stressing, Jessica? And thank you, Leanne, for the feedback. This is it's a fun design. As you can see, it could work for men, women, kids. It's just a fun little bracelet. So I do want to show what we're going for now. And this is tiny, tiny stuff. So it's a little putsy, but it's worth it. So you can see the 5 chains that are ending here. 3 of them are attached. And in between the first and second, there's a 3.8 millimeter Rollo ring crimp. And then between the 4th and the 5th, there's the same thing. It is a small spot, but again, I think it's worth it to get in there. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to put string through. All right, and wish me patience and not too much shaking here. So we're going through the very first ring. Oh, do you know what? Never mind. I forgot to show you how to oval them. Golly. I got all distracted. So you should end up with more rings than you need in our little 1/2 inch segment of chain. But if you snip every other one, and unfortunately we do have to, you end up having to, waste one ring, or I mean waste one ring for every one that you use, because they are solid rings, but you snip every other one, and then that frees up, in this case, 3 rings for using as crimps. So what I like to do, and I was playing with this to figure out the best way to show you, is either using a flat nose or kind of the elbow side. This would be the elbow side of a bent nose. Come in and on a flat surface, I'm trying to do this so you can see it, but on a flat surface, not your palm, it's much better to use, no, it's not going to work very well. The angle's too weird. Oh, maybe it will. So I'm squeezing it just ever so slightly. Do you see that? So you just get a nice little oval crimp. It's perfect. And the reason you want to do that is because if you don't, because this is now 3.8 millimeters instead of 4.8 millimeters, which is what we were weaving with, if you don't squish it, you're going to really have a hard time getting the leather through. So here I'm going to go through the first link, and then I'm going to put the 3.8 mil roller ring on. Then I need to get in here and go through my very last of the second chain, the very last one. So pull up into space where I can get at him. I'm going to go through him, go through the middle one, go through the 4th chain. Again, I'm kind of twisting to get there. And then right here, I need to put another one of those crimps on, okay? So, good question. Is it better to have the natural opening on the short side or the long side of the oval, or does it matter? Good question. I have always, so I just put that, the little oval ring on, and I'm going through the last one. I have always tried to have the crimp on the short side so that if it does break, and I can't even say that I've ever had it break, but if it does, it would break in a way that you would still be able to press it in and use it. If you had the break, and you have good eyes to see where that little seam is. I think that's what you're talking about, is there is a tiny seam on the 3/8, so it really isn't an opening, as in it's solid and soldered, but there is a soldered spot, so there is a seam. And so I always try to have it on, oh, did I say the short side? I didn't mean that. No, I want it on the long side. So, oh, Ed's laughing at me. So there's the seam. All right, get right there. There's the seam. I want to go, oh, and now I wiggled it. I want it to go this way, like so, so that the seam is right there. Right there is where we want it, ideally. Sorry, I think I have like visual dyslexia sometimes, it seems like. Anyway, so one of the things that's nice when you get to this point is to kind of push those Rolo rings that you're wanting to get through. So I'm on the front side now. I push the Rolo rings over to the other side because I need some room to get in at them. And like I said, this is the putziest part of this, but it's all good when you're done with it. So we're going through now we're going to go through all the rings except the middle one. But the trickiest one, oops, as you can imagine, let me be sure I have it on screen, is this one right here. It is tricky getting through that little, that 3.8 mil jump ring. So, but he's going to go. You might need to move this because the middle one is in the way. So there's just a little bit of playing, and then you see the end of that leather pops out, so I'm going to pull him, and I've got that piece through. I'm also going to show you again cutting this one, and I got this through with just a basic, slice cut here, but you can really cut these. Actually, I got to do it kind of with my finger in a way that blocks this, so I'm sorry, but you can cut these so sharp, like so. So you see how sharp that leather is pointed now, and that'll help in getting this next batch through. So I usually get the first 3 through, and then I'm going to go do the second 3. So this guy, oh, and look at that, he popped right out. And see how this leather is coming up to the front, getting in my way? Well, just push him out of the way. You do my bidding there too. And there it is. So that little tip has come through. If you don't have a fingernail to grab it, you can use your pliers. And now both of those 1.5 mil leathers have gone through that 3.8 mil Rolo chain. Yay! So before I do the squishing and crimping to put it all together, I do a quick double check and make sure that all of my edges are even. If I want to smudge it and adjust it a little, I would do that at this point. But I'm pretty happy that these look good. And so I will get in here with, again, small pliers, a small nosed pliers is what you really need. And this one works. I mean, this is pretty typical, so it's not like it has to be especially small, but I will, our standard class set of tools, the plier nose is just a little big for this one. So I'm going to come in like so, and I want to be sure we're in focus, and then just squeeze, just a little squeeze. And then over on this one, same thing, get in there and squeeze. So, and then flip it over and do it again because I want it to be really snug from both sides. Now, the trick here is, how much do you squeeze it? Well, we want it squeezed enough that it's going to hold, but not so much that it's going to cut through the leather. If you pulled it really hard, you could, or if you squished it really hard, I'm sure you could cut through the leather because I've sure done that in the past. So you don't want to do that, but and by pulling these sides here, now I'm testing to make sure that that crimp there is really solid. And I can pull it back this way and it didn't move, it didn't pull this in. I can pull that way, nothing's moving. Those are in there really solid. I hope you can kind of see it. I realize this is small spaces, but it works out to just be what I think is a really clean way to finish. Some of our kits we finish, so we could finish any of our kits this way. Some of our kits though, we include little end caps so you can glue on a leather end, or we will recommend that you bring the leather over to the side. Some of the styles that are a little more kind of bohemian or use beads, we'll do a little side knot like so, and then add some beads on here. You could do that with this as well. You can finish it however you want, but the standard kit comes with the 3.8 millimeter rings so that you have a really clean finish. Oh, thanks, Leanne, about the finish. I kind of like it too. Sometimes I like a little extra. Sometimes this look just feels like it should just be what it is. So then, because these are really snug, you don't have to leave a whole lot of leather. I just come right in like so and snip it. Add a little angle. The roller ring there is going to prevent you from getting too close to your crimped parts. You have just a little bit left over in there. And it really is a very smooth finish. When you put the both sides together, you really can hardly tell the difference from one end to the other. That is the basics for how to put this kit together. Any thoughts, questions as I just want to show you a quick update on, or not update, but just a reminder of how we do this with the open road bracelet. So open road. I'm picked here some bright shiny gold because I'm just feeling it. And how about that? And I mean, is just whatever. I'm all of a sudden gold is kind of in. I've never been a huge fan, but lately I am liking gold, and so we're going to play with it a little bit. And so all of these bits and parts, so we are available on the web. So we have the kits made up. Eddie talked about the different colorways. They're already out there, and I have already forgotten my beads. Goodness gracious. And just checking. Do we do? Nope.
So
Actually, no, I didn't forget the beads. We don't on open road. We don't put beads on the first course. So I'm going to be adding them as we go. So go ahead, Eddie.
Oh, I was going to say these bracelets are related in that they both use 5 strands of Rollo chain. They both have a center Rollo chain that pops up. Really the main difference between an open road and a road warrior is that we add 2 beads to each course. So it does take a little bit of extra care and thought. You gotta, as you go through the first Rollo ring, then you gotta add a bead. You go through rings 2 and 3, or rows of Rollo 2 and 3, and then you before you 2, 3, and 4, I should say, and then you get to before you get to the 5th one, you got to add another bead before you weave all the way through. And so it's just it's an extra step, but it gives it a little extra width and a little bit extra look to it. So.
Well, and on the back side, so like Ed said, on the front side, you go in between the 1st and 3rd and the 4th and 5th with the beads, and then on the back side, you only go through the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th chains, and you don't go through the beads again. So on the back side, I'm
the back side is exactly like
skipping over the beads, yeah, and skipping over the center, and just going to the in this case, we put the center bead, or the center chain is an etched Rollo. So really pretty straightforward. These I tend to pull in that, in the open road, or the road warrior style, we would call flat and wide, where we have all of these, the edges of the Rollo rings on the back side are basically touching each other, and that's how you keep things even and snug. And you see how that's kind of loosey-goosey up there because I really hadn't snugged it. So with each stitch, you just snug it together, and you can see that I think this is actually, I'm a big turquoise fan, so I think this will actually look pretty good. Turquoise and gold. Not traditional, but I love non-traditional. So my point in sharing this is to just an update on how you put those beads in there. So those are any size 6 beads. So I shouldn't say any. So good quality Miyuki or Mitubo size 6s have a hole that's going to fit in 1.5 mil leather. And every so often you'll find one that's just a little small, and you saw how we cut the leather to a point so that you can almost always get through it, even if it's a little snug. But you probably have in your stash lots of beads. And you can use, again, any size 6 that has a hole big enough for 1.5 millimeter leather. So there's a lot of different fun combinations for how you can make these come together. Let me see, there's one other. Oh, so speaking of, all of what we've shown so far has been 4.8 mil Rollo chain. And that's really about what we're going to talk about. I have a couple new kits coming, or just these are so easy to figure out. You really don't need a kit. So this is 4.8 Rollo chain, and with 2 Rollo chains on the side, 1 etched Rollo in the middle. But notice that unlike a traditional, let's see. Okay, so here on the right is open road, where the middle chain, the etched chain, is popped up. That's black, it's probably hard to see. Let me get a better one. Okay, here. So I'll do this one. So you see the etched chain is all popped up, and you see the top edge of it and the circle side of it. Here, instead of putting the chain, instead of popping it up, I just put the leather right over it. And so you attach the chain at the beginning on the leather, and that's all, just like with Road Warrior and Open Road. You don't have to attach everything to the clasp. And then you put in the leather on, in this design, doesn't even go through the middle chain. So it's held on right up here, and that's plenty. And you're going in between it. So you see a lot more of the textured chain, or you see the textured edge of the textured chain. And then you're going to finish, this you can finish just like what I shared with you. And I'm not going to go through it, but I guess it's more to encourage you that with an assortment of fun chains that work together, and in this case it's the 4/8 and the 4/8 and the 4/8 Rollo and the 5mm etched Rollo, they're very interchangeable, and there's lots of fun things that you can do. So you could put beads in the middle of this instead of chain. And thank you. Yes, I wish. Oh my goodness. So this Band-Aid. Oh my goodness. I broke my nail way, way, way down. You girls who've done that, you know what it is. It's no fun. So yes, I hate wearing a Band-Aid. I wish I had a better one. I wish I didn't have a broken nail. But of all the things going on in the world, I am not going to complain about a broken fingernail. I'm just not. So anyway, what else? I think Eddie Allen. Oh, I do want to say again, if you wouldn't mind, the ellipses at the top. If you don't already follow us, follow us. If you don't get our newsletter, sign up on our webpage. There's a button you can push to give us your email, and we'll send you a newsletter where we tell you all kinds of good things that are going on around town and deals that we're offering. I mentioned earlier the toffee, because that's where we first start talking about the toffee. If you've ever had it, you know that it's worth talking about. It's good stuff. And that season is coming. I can hardly believe that we're almost there. We do that right after Thanksgiving every year. So I think that is about all I have got. Oh, cute, you guys. I love Opiuchi. Love it. And I would love also if you're making things with our kits or other products or from other places. It doesn't really matter. If you share them, I'd love to see what people are working on and making, and if you've taken any of our kits and made something a little bit different. I'd love to see how you're customizing and making things special for you. And I think, people have asked, are we going to be doing this in larger and smaller chain? And we probably are. I'm still working out what are the right, best, easiest ways to do the finishes for those. Sometimes with smaller chain, it's beautiful, but you end up with so much bunching, you got to figure out something else. And with the bigger chain, we just don't want it to get too big and bulky. So still working on kind of manipulating and figuring out what I feel is a really good way to make those come together, but we'll have this in that you can do this same sort of thing with 4.8 or 5.7 mil Rollo, and maybe even 7 mil Rollo for a really big hello, how are you today kind of chain, because that chain speaks volumes. Okie doke. Is that, and are you ready, Eddie, for,
yeah.
Okay.
We're going to switch places.
Yep. So I'm going to let Ed.
I got you a nice little thing too.
Thank you everybody for hanging out. So now I get to go on the feed and answer, make comments and such. So I'd love to hear, how is life in your world? Like what fun things are you doing now that fall has come? What's your stress reliever or joy increaser? Your happy place.
Okay, hey, so we just got a dozen kits or so that were left over from last week's auction, and these are, you see that there's a buy it now price, which was 30% off, but now the buy it now price is going to be $17 or 50% off on all of these. So when you see the auction minimum bid, it actually becomes the buy it now price. And most of these are quantity one. You don't have to mention a quantity on your bid. But if you, there's a few of these, and this is one of those. We have 2 of these left. If you mentioned anything other than we'll assume your quantity is 1, but please, if you want more than 1, please note that in the quantities. So, and we don't have the samples anymore, but the samples were on last week's feed. This is a double helix bracelet. For those of you that were a Loose Bead Society, this was your project from fall of 2018. And it's a very rich look. It does look like the double helix that is in the DNA strand. And again, we have 2 of these left. They're in Woodland Spring. They were $34, and now they are $17. And just mention lot 4, and buy it now for $17. And if you want both, just let us know both. Lot number 5. Was 28. It is 14, and we do have 2 of those. And again, just let us know if you need one or both. They now are 14. So it is a normal glamour bracelet that has, in this case, brown leather, and it has pink beads. It's just that it's got double stranded on the pink beads, and so it has a. If you love pink, you will love this bracelet. And that's lot number 5. 2 available. 28 becomes 14. Lot number 11. This was a very popular one. We had 7 of these, and now we just have 1 available. It's we had some box Rolo chain that was twice as big as the. So Karen Walsh is asking, how does this, maybe you're talking, anyway, on the auction, again, you just note if you want something right in the feed, and we will send it to you. So anyway, lot number 11, we just have 1 left, and for $16, you can get a Glamour Big Chain. It's a woven bracelet, not too dissimilar from what Becky was showing you. It's showing the feed is locked up. Hey, Beck? Maybe the feed is locked up on your side, because it's looking like it's still doing well on our side here. Hang on, I'm just going to check. No, I'm in the middle of it, and someone said that the feed locked up, so I just. Right. But so I'm trying. It shouldn't be affected. It shouldn't be affected by this PC. So the feed, it's not locked up. So. Well, just ask me if you need some help. So we are back on lot number 11. That doesn't appear that the feed is locked up or not. It doesn't appear that the feed is locked up from what we can see. So we will continue. Lot number 11 is $16. It's a woven bracelet that has a large onyx. It's silver and onyx with black leather. And again, that's available for $16. Lot number 15 is a triple noodle bracelet that doubles as a necklace. And this is pairing some just striking amethyst, gold, and silver, along with some deep brown leather. This makes a triple wrap 6-layered bracelet, or it makes a double-stranded necklace. And again, $34 becomes $17. There are just 2 of these available now. Just 2 of these available. To be sure to specify your quantity, and you'll get these for $17 each. Lot number 29 is a ladder weave, and that was our original kit, is a ladder weave. There's just one of these available for $13. It's in seafoam, and you're basically lacing the beads in this kit, so they go belly to belly versus belly to belly versus hole to hole as you thread these. So this is lot number 29. Lot number 36, there are two available for $13, and we call it Harley Halloween. So these are both the colors of Harley Davidson, but also the colors of Halloween: oranges, blacks, whites, and a silver bead, along with silver accents and black leather. Lot number 32 is a metallic gold beads in a ladder weave with a charm. This is now $13 as well, and it's a lot number 32. These beads have a very gunmetal-y, ball bearing-ish look to them, but they actually are ceramic, and comes with gold accents and a gold cross charm. Lot number 32 was 26, becomes 13. And the final of the dozen kits that were available is the tater chip, and this is a gold 8-link. This is actually available for $8. I do apologize. It's available for $8, and there's just one of these available, and it makes a bracelet looking like the one in the picture here, only with gold links instead of silver links. So does it still appear if the feed is locked up, or?
It appears that I can't get anything functioning in a way that feels.
Well, we just got a bid on lot number 44, so.
I don't see any of that, so that's.
So Jessica, number 44 is yours. I'm going to set it aside, and we'll note that. So because we think the feed was locked up, we're just going to go through some of these again. Lot number 4 is, we got Karen Walsh with a whole bunch here. Karen, we got a 4, we got a 5, we got an 11, so that 11 is out. We got a 15, and 29 and 32, then 29 and 32 are gone then too. Yay, Karen Walsh. All right.
And I apologize, guys. I am trying to follow on a computer that isn't cooperating very well, so the messages, a lot of them I don't see. Ed sees them on the phone, and
Well,
I'm not seeing them on the feed.
We weren't seeing anything, but now we are, so we thought that the feed was locked up.
Yeah.
But now we think it's fine, and so hopefully everything is fine.
We hope. Jessica asked, did the Harley go?
We still have both Harleys.
So Jessica, we do still have both Harleys. Do you want one of those? So Karen is saying, how do I pay? Yay me. Yes, yay you.
Tell her she needs to send us her email via either Facebook message or sending it to Becky at diakonosdesigns.com. And then we send you a secure click and pay invoice for your 6 kits that you picked out. Thank you so much, Karen. So we're down to now we're down to 5 kits. Again, we have one of lot number 4. Oh, Jessica Schrader says she's going to take both of the Harleys, so those are gone. So now we're down to 3 kits. We have one of lot 4. That's for $17, and that's the double helix. It's just a beautiful, rich bracelet there. We have one of lot number 5, which is it's a glamour. It's, if you love pink, it's a bracelet that's beaded or woven very similar to what the weaving you were seeing today, and it's just that it's got 2 beads on each strand, and then just 2 strands of chain. So, and then one of the triple noodles in amethyst, silver, and gold. Those are 34, now 17. So those 3 remain, and so Karen sent us that. We have Jessica's information, we have Tammy's information, and Karen just sent us again a Facebook message or an email at becky@diakonosdesigns.com, and we will get you your invoice. And if anyone's seeing this and they want one of those 3 remaining kits, one of number 4, one of number 5, and one of number 15, just let us know. And otherwise, we'll see you again next week. Next week, we are looking to do a 6 p.m. start, and we are looking to do finished jewelry that is off our sale table. So we are going to have earrings, bracelets, and necklaces starting at $5. And they're all, everything you're going to see on that show is either $5, $10, $15, or $20, or half price. And we're going to have about 40 items of finished jewelry off of our sale table. All very lovely items, all on trend in fashion. It's just that we've either had them too long, or we made too many of them. And we don't want things hanging around. We want to be a river, not a reservoir, and we want things to come and go. So it gives us more room to create more designs. And thank you, Karen, for that email address. And thank you all for the tutorial. Will be posted on our website under Road Warrior, so you'll be able to look at this into perpetuity, and it'll be a great reference for any leather and chain weaving or any leather and chain weaving design. So look forward to meeting again at 6 p.m. next Thursday, the 22nd, and we'll see you all then. Thank you so much.